Hi, good morning everybody. How are you today? Today, I want to try and talk to you for 10 minutes about Amazon, not the river, the company. Before we start, two challenges for you though. The first one, after you finish listening to this talk, if you go to my homepage, the link's in the description below, stephenaskew.com, you can find questions about this talk, you can find multiple choice and essay questions, you can try those, the answers are there, and there are some sample essays as well. You can also download them all as Word documents, and you can listen to the MP3 of this talk. There's challenge number one. Challenge number two, this talk's about Amazon. Obviously, I'm not going to say everything there is to know about Amazon. So after I've finished, go and do some research. Go and do some research yourself, and then put some more information in the comments down below. I mean, I like to learn as much as I can, so anything you can tell me, please do. All right, here we go. 10 minutes about Amazon. 3, 2, 1, go. So Amazon is a huge multinational company that I'm sure most of you will have used at some point in your lives. Let's start by looking at the logo of Amazon here. Now this basically says everything we need to know about Amazon. If you look at the logo, it has an arrow going from the A to the Z, or the Z. What that basically means is Amazon carries every product from A to Z. Also, the arrow makes a smile, so they're trying to make you happy. They want you to associate happiness with Amazon. Right, let's have a quick look at the history of Amazon. Amazon was obviously started by a man called Jeff Bezos. In 1990, he was doing a regular job and he noticed that the internet was taking off. Internet companies were expanding and the internet was increasing by about 2,300% a year, which is staggering. In 1993, he was thinking about changing his job and he wanted to set up an online business. So he sat down and he wrote a list of about 20 things he thought he could sell online. And then he narrowed that down to 5 things, then he narrowed it down to 1 thing. He decided on books. Why books? Well, basically because in the world there are millions of different types of books. Books are very cheap, they have a very low unit cost, and literature, reading, is also worldwide. So books can be sold irrespective of country. So he started off by selling books. In 1994, he quit his job. He used all of his savings and he borrowed $250,000 from his parents and he set up his business. I don't think my parents would have $250,000 if I had a good idea, but who knows. Anyway, he started by calling his company cadabra.com. That comes from the magic word abracadabra. However, he was talking to a lawyer and the lawyer misheard him and thought he said cadaver.com. Cadaver is obviously a dead body. He didn't want to associate that with his company, so he changed the name. He then bought relentless.com. But relentless also has it's a positive image, but it also has a negative image. Relentless is something that won't stop even if you don't want it, even if you want it to stop. So finally, he settled on Amazon.com. He chose Amazon because A is a good letter. If you make a list of companies, A always comes to the top. Also, the Amazon River is exotic and it's the largest river in the world. He wanted his company to be the biggest river, the biggest company in the world as well. So July the 5th, 1994, Amazon goes live. The very first book sold on Amazon, now I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read this and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, is Douglas Hofstadter's Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies, Computer Models of the Fundamental Mechanisms of Thought. I've never actually read that book. If you have, please post a comment down below. I'd love to know what it's about. Anyway, within 2 weeks of setting up the company, he'd sold books to all 50 states of America, of course, and he was making $20,000 a month. Now, since then, Amazon's growth has been exponential. However, its profit has not been exponential. As Jeff Bezos said when he first started the company, anybody that invested money in the company would not see a return on their money for quite a while because his primary goal was to reinvest all of the profits into the business. He wanted to expand. He wanted to take over the entire market and then start making a profit. Anyway, over time, the logos have changed. Let's have a quick look at those logos. The most recent one is over here. The most recent logo was designed by somebody called Anthony Biles. That's a picture from there. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the Amazon business model. So the Amazon business model is very similar to Walmart's. What Walmart do is they try and buy products as cheaply as they can and sell them as cheaply as they can. They see that making a 1 cent profit on 1 million things is better than making a 10 cent profit on 1,000 things. I think my maths is right there. They want to deal in high volume, low profit. Amazon does the same. They try and buy things as cheaply as possible and to sell them as cheaply as possible. However, Amazon has an advantage over Walmart in that they don't have any real estate. They don't have, other than their warehouses, they don't have any shops. They don't have any buildings on the ground. So they make a lot of savings there. Right. Today, 2020, approximately 40% of all retail sales in the world are on Amazon. That is a huge amount of shopping. That means 40 cents of every dollar is spent on Amazon. Why is that? Well, there are a number of reasons. Obviously, there's a huge amount of choice. Basically, anything is on Amazon. It's convenient. You don't have to leave your house. It's cheap. And there's free postage. If you pay for Amazon Prime, you get free postage. But those are not the main reasons. One of the main reasons and one of the biggest advantages that Amazon has over a bricks and mortar store like Walmart is that they can be anticipatory. They can know what you're looking for, sometimes before even you do. They study your buying. They study what you buy, they study when you buy it and how you buy it and what you look for, and they use AI and algorithms, and they can guess what you want. So when you log on to Amazon, at the side you always get recommended for you. Have you thought about this? Amazon is trying to sell you things. You know, when you go to a supermarket and you come up to the cash desk, you know there are a lot of things by the cash desk. That's the same kind of thing. They're hoping that those are the things you're going to want, the things you're going to want to buy. Amazon is doing that in a way that supermarkets cannot. Supermarkets can only target the general population. They can only think many people would want to buy this. Amazon can target us individually. They can learn from our shopping strategy. They can see what we want and they can try and sell it to us. That way, we buy more. And of course, in the end, Amazon is a business. They will do anything they possibly can to make us part with our money more readily. So that's one of the reasons why Amazon is so much more successful than a lot of regular shops. Now, another thing Amazon has also started doing recently is they want your business wherever you are. And Amazon understands that you are going to go shopping, you are going to go into the city, and you are going to look around shops. And Amazon sat down and thought, how can we get money from that too? So what Amazon has done, if you've got the Amazon app, you can actually open up the camera and you can scan a product, or you can even scan the barcode. So when you're walking around a shop, a supermarket, electrical store, you think, oh, that TV looks nice. Open up the app, scan the barcode, and you can see the price on Amazon. And almost always it will be cheaper on Amazon. Buy. A lot of people are doing that. They're using regular shops as showrooms almost. They're walking around the shops and they're finding the product, getting on Amazon, ordering it there. Is that good? Is that bad? Who's to judge? So let's have a look at the social impact of Amazon. Well, you cannot deny that Amazon is shutting down regular stores. Amazon is shutting down a lot of small stores. Toys R Us, for example, is one of the stores that's gone bankrupt primarily because of Amazon. People don't go shopping anymore. They buy stuff online. A lot of shops, not a lot, all shops have overheads. They have to charge more. They have to pay for their electricity, their rent, their staff, things like that. Those are overheads that Amazon doesn't have. So Amazon can charge less than a regular shop can. And shops cannot compete with Amazon, and in the end they close down. Another thing that Amazon has done is Amazon can use its power to close people down. For example, there's a website, diapers.com. And Amazon wanted to buy that website quite a while ago. And they didn't want to sell it. They didn't want to sell their website, of course. So what Amazon did is Amazon on its site-wide, it reduced the cost of all of its diapers by a huge amount. So the diapers on Amazon were far cheaper than diapers on diapers.com. And the two companies went head to head. And of course, Amazon has a huge pot of money, a huge pool of resources. So Amazon just kept its prices low. Amazon can lose money for quite a long time before it starts to hurt. Diapers.com couldn't. And in the end, Diapers.com said, all right, we give up, hands up. And they sold their business to Amazon.com. So Amazon can shut people down by using their power. Okay, working conditions. I don't know if all this is actually true, but Amazon use robotics, they use a lot of AI, they're trying to automate the process as much as possible. Some things they can't do, like some of the packing and box stuffing and stuff have to be done by people. But even the people they're trying to automate, people have trackers on their wrists and they have to get to a certain point by a certain time and load a certain box. And I read somewhere that Amazon workers walk an average of about 20 kilometers a day. They're kind of treated like robots. But I think Amazon's goal for the future is to eliminate people entirely from their warehouses and make the process of packing completely automated. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the relatively near future. Okay, I've gone way over time, but let's have a quick look at the future. So Amazon is currently bringing out a few new things. There's Amazon Go, which is a cashierless supermarket. What you do there is when you walk in, you have the Amazon app on your phone and the shop recognizes you as you walk in. There are cameras everywhere. There are scales on the shelves. If you take something off the shelf, the cameras know who you are. The cameras can see what you've taken and the shelf can register that something has been taken from it. And if you put it back on the shelf, it realizes you put it back. And you put that in your bag, and once you leave the shop, you're automatically charged to your Amazon account. You don't have to do anything. You can walk in, you can grab a drink and walk out. And that's it, and you've paid for it. Now that's good and bad. I mean, it's obviously cutting jobs, but it's also making shopping easier. However, with services like that, it's also far easier to spend more than you intend to. If you actually have a physical interaction with some people, you can realize how much money you're using, but if it's all magic money, credit cards, then you don't realize how much you're spending. So good and bad. Amazon is bringing in Amazon carts, because Amazon Go is just one kind of shop, but Amazon carts you could put in any kind of supermarket. It does the same kind of thing. When you put something in the shopping cart, it realizes what's in there and it charges you. So again, you can cut out waiting in line to pay for stuff. Amazon Prime Air. Amazon is trying to deliver things by drone. Amazon wants to make your shopping experience as easy as possible, as convenient as possible. And one thing Amazon cannot compete with regular shops with is speed. If you go to a shop, you can buy the thing, you can get it there and then. Amazon, obviously, you have to wait for it to be delivered. So Amazon wants to speed up the delivery process. And to do that, they're using drones. So Amazon drones are going to become a big thing soon. Amazon Robotics. Amazon has a robotics industry. They use robots in their warehouses. They're making cleaning robots, medical robots, a lot of different types of robots. There's Alexa, of course. Alexa is your home app thing. It's a home smart center, and you can get a lot of different things that connect to Alexa now. We have the IoT, the Internet of Things. There are many things in your house that you can connect to Alexa. That's really good. The house is becoming smart. We can connect everything to Alexa, but of course, Amazon is not doing it to help you in your house. Amazon is doing it so that when you purchase something, you're more likely to purchase it from Amazon. Everything is connected to Amazon. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at what is Amazon. Is Amazon a shop? Well, I suppose it is on the surface, but obviously the amount of money to be made from selling stuff is finite. You cannot just keep selling stuff forever. There's a finite amount. So Amazon is trying to branch out into other industries. Right now, Amazon has its cloud, it has its web service. Amazon has contracts with the American government to store data. Amazon is bringing out face recognition software. That's also used in their Amazon Go shops, of course. That's how they know who you are. But they were going to sell that to the government, but I think that's been postponed at the moment. They were also trying to get a contract with the CIA, but again, that has also fallen through, I think. But Amazon is trying to spread out into other areas. They want to become basically a data organization, I think. So, a final thought for you. Amazon can hear you. through its Alexa or through your phone. Amazon knows the layout of your house. It knows what devices you have in your house. Amazon knows what you want. It knows what you have bought. It knows the things you need. It knows your schedule. It knows when you fill the bath or switch the lights on. It knows when you're running out of milk. It knows what you look like. It can see your face. It knows where you are through GPS tracking. It's developing AI. It has a lot of your data. It has connections to the CIA and the American government. And it can shut down the competition. Amazon is more than a shop. What is Amazon going to become in the future? There's no way of knowing, but I think Amazon is going to become much larger in all of our lives. Anyway, that was way more than 10 minutes talking about Amazon. I hope you learned something. Don't forget, if you go to my website, you can answer some questions about this, you can try and write some essays, and you can work on your English. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.